Breaking news. Crown Jewel has got a undisputed Universal Championship match. Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief, will be defending against, well, someone that's had a couple of matches in WWE, more known for his celebrity side, none other than Logan Paul. What started on his podcast, on Logan Paul's podcast with Roman Reigns just this week, now has led to SmackDown, where we had the challenge almost put out for a press conference today. We've had a press conference in the last couple of hours, and what do you know? We have the main event seemingly set for Crown Jewel. We're going to talk about the pros, going to talk about the cons, going to talk about the idea of celebrity, going to talk about what this means going forward. Is there a chance Logan Paul can actually win this match? Well, I'm going to be joined by a special guest, and you know what? I'm going to check the clocks, everybody, because it's time. It's time. It's Tino's time. How you doing, Tino, my friend?
What's up, Steve? How you doing today?
Really.
I need you to do like a voice. I'm sorry. I need you to do a voiceover for me or something for that, so I get added to my show, because that's just perfect.
Just give me the details, and I'll sort you out, my man. No problem. I'm happy to collaborate where I can. But obviously, we've got a couple of people already joined us in the chat. So let's just quickly say hello to Robbie Collins, who's here with us. He says hello. Hope you're doing well, Robbie. Thank you for checking us out. And as well, say your dog says great thumbnail. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate that. And he does go on to say as well, I understand why this match is happening, but in kayfabe, Logan Paul got an undisputed WWE Universal Championship match. We're just having two matches, and that's something we'll be discussing as well in detail here. And there's so many other topics people want to talk about as well. Feel free to get involved. Also, we're happy to do any form of Q&A as well, but we will be focusing to begin with on this topic. So first and foremost, Tino, you said to me you've seen the podcast. So how do things play out then with Logan Paul and Roman Reigns? I've only just heard the details really through the dirt sheet. So give us the breakdown of how that podcast went.
So I thought it was really good, because I was actually we were talking before we started recording. I was actually watching Up, Up, Down, Down. I was watching Xavier Woods and Tyler Breeze play WWE 2K GM mode, or whatever, the Battle of the Brands or whatever they do.
Love it.
And
yeah.
It was like the suggestions for whatever you like. And I saw Roman's face, and like the thumbnail usually Logan Paul uses is him and then his guest. And I'm like, I didn't know Roman was on a podcast. So I clicked on it, and the ads went and everything, because he's got the ads. And all of a sudden they start talking, and he's like, I got the guest Roman Reigns. And he comes out, and because I didn't know this was happening. I just found it out of nowhere. So now that I see like that he was coming on and everything. But I started watching it and everything, and Roman is funny as hell. He was sitting with one of Logan Paul's friends, and he was sitting there joking with them, and they were talking about their wives, and they were talking about their girlfriends, and Roman was trying to give him tips, and it was great interaction and everything. And it didn't seem like they were like interacting too much, him and Logan Paul, like directly, but yeah. He was more like talking. He was talking to Logan, of course, but he was like, because it seemed like his two friends were just starstruck. You know what I mean? Tribal Chief, the head of the table, sitting next. I wouldn't know what that would. Would you know what to do if Roman Reigns was sitting next to you? I wouldn't know what the hell to ask him.
I'd probably stick the finger in there.
That's why
stick the ones. We're the ones. You know what I mean?
I'm the honorary Oos that they forgot about. I'm the fifth Oos that got lost somewhere. Secretly, Sami Zayn's brother. Well, yeah. Absolutely. No, I thought it was really good and funny. I would definitely recommend anybody to check it out. And it was like more of it happened after Roman got off. Like, they said goodbye, they shook hands. He's like, "Thank you for coming on." He interacted with the camera guy a little bit, and he walked off. And then his friend asked him, he said, he was like more of like, do you think like we could see like you versus Roman? Or it came up somehow. And then Logan goes, well, I think I could beat Roman and become the undisputed Universal Championship. And that's kind of like how it ended. I don't want to spoil it too much for anybody, because you definitely go watch the whole podcast. But after that happened, I felt like we were going to see something. And then when it was announced, I woke up the next day and he was going to be on SmackDown. I'm like, I knew it. It just seems like, I don't know if you've noticed it, but they do that a lot now. They set stuff up on podcasts, and it's like, well, was it all it's set? Like, I wonder about that with the pod, you know what I mean? Because it's like, you know what I mean? Like, the conversations they having, did they plan that then? You know what I mean? Yeah. I know they did maybe a little bit, but like, it just makes me wonder, like, these podcasts now are being set as a work, where it's like, are they actually asking the questions they want to ask? Or are they asking the questions that they're being told to ask by somebody to set up the storyline to make it make sense? when we watch SmackDown.
It makes a lot of sense you say that. It's a great point you bring up because obviously you go back to Pat McAfee's podcast over the year, and it's a really successful podcast on YouTube.
Yeah.
Loads of people going to check out for the NFL, for the pro wrestling fans go and do it as well. But when Vince McMahon was on there, I think Brock Lesnar had been on there. But it was, I believe, when Vince was on there, that was when they suggested Pat McAfee. That's when you're going to get your WrestleMania match. So that was a way to build up the show. It was almost taking something from there. Then it went into SmackDown. Obviously, Austin Theory was the opponent. But taking it here like with Logan Paul outside of WWE. There is a mainstream audience that follows him. He's got, a lot of social media followers. People will go and check out his podcast. And for people that maybe watch his podcast or listen to his podcast and are not aware of the fact of he's doing professional wrestling, maybe some people go, well, hang on, we've got the champion on here. Logan says, hey, I can beat this guy. And people go, well, hang on. Well, yeah, Logan Paul, he's gone and done everything he said to do so far. He went into boxing. He did that.
Yeah.
I felt like a charity match when you watched it over, but he did the fight with Floyd Mayweather.
I mean,
and to be fair, he survived it. I was rooting for Mayweather all the way. Mayweather for me was one of the GOATs of all time. But
I didn't think he had a shot at all, to be honest. But I mean, I've been surprised with Logan, everything he's done. And I think that's a lot of the thing with people, like, they may hate him, but you still got to give him the respect because in reality, he's doing everything that, like, we want to do, the content creators. He has the channel. He has everything. He has just, you know what I mean? He has these, like, ways of getting into these things that anybody would be lucky to have. So it's just like, you know what I mean? All the things he's done good at. It's still funny that he fought Floyd Money with Mayweather.
Yeah. Go on. Sorry, dude.
No, that was all. I still can't get over it. Like,
I still can't go over the fact that he actually survived that. It was obviously, both survived all the rounds. But I love the fact that was brought into SmackDown as well, because obviously the whole thing of the layers together, I thought was very clever the way they did this on SmackDown. Because, I mean, first off, he was very Britney Spears with oops, I did it again. I said something out loud I probably shouldn't have done. Probably got myself into trouble. He also had a bit of a dress up like Omos did when he first debuted as well, with the chain and the high neck as well going on. But that's that looked the better. But anyway, the fact that he actually mentioned about the fact he faced Mayweather, he survived that. He's had a couple of matches in WWE, and he's actually won both of those matches. Obviously, he was tag team with The Miz at WrestleMania, and then obviously he had the match at SummerSlam. And to be fair, the match at SummerSlam was pretty darn impressive. We can't argue with that. He had a very good performance, and he shows a dedication to what we've seen in ring, because some people that come into wrestling, they don't take to it like a duck does to water. But Logan Paul, he's putting the time, he's putting the effort. And we're seeing that more common with celebrities now, where you'd see the celebrities of past. I'm watching WCW 2000 as we speak. So I'm watching David Arquette in the ring. And I can tell you, Logan Paul is a different level, head and shoulders above. You can see he's put the time, he's put the effort. And even as I'm jumping ahead here slightly, but Cecily in this press conference that we've just had this evening, I've put all my life. I've been wanting to do this all my life. It's took me time to get here. He says this has been something he's been really keen on doing. Triple H has said on a couple of occasions he's really impressed with Logan Paul. So, I mean, at the same time, you sit and go, he deserves in a way to have a shot at being a WWE superstar because he's had impressive outings. But is there a question, though, that he's only had 2 matches, that it's far too soon for him to have the opportunity when you look at the talented roster we've got?
I mean, yeah. Are you asking me what I think about that? Is that what I just?
Yeah, pretty much. Okay. Just your thoughts, yeah.
I mean, yeah, I do, but I mean, the way I'm thinking about it is Crown Jewel. It is in November, so it is. I think it's before Survivor Series, right?
Yes.
Survivor. Okay, I always forget now. There's like 2 pay-per-views every other month. I don't know, but yeah. I feel like it would be. I feel like it's either Logan Paul or it would be somebody like Goldberg. Like, I feel like Triple H's Goldberg is somebody like a Logan Paul. And I know this sounds stupid, and I want to mention this before I forget. My little cousin was over here. I don't know if I mentioned it on your show or somebody else's show. I was just on Off the Top Rope podcast and stuff. Tino's taking over everybody. I'm trying to.
I like to say.
But he came over and he watched SummerSlam, and then he came over and he helped me with one of my fantasy drafts. And he told me that he literally only watches wrestling now because of Logan Paul. He'll tune into every SmackDown, every Raw, every NXT now. And I'm like, what do you? He's like, I love Logan Paul. He drinks the Prime. He drinks it. I'm like, what? Are you trying to be Logan Paul? But it just seems like that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to bring in that audience of people where they might love Logan Paul and they knew everything that Logan Paul does. But now that he's wrestling, they're going to get that audience of kids that are going to tune in on probably at 2:00 afternoon on a Saturday and watch it because they're not going to be in school. They're going to want to watch Logan Paul. They're going to be on YouTube like they always are. There's going to be, like, I've spent 3 days with Mike's cousin, and I've spent probably 6 hours with him, and he spent the whole other time on YouTube watching videos of Logan Paul, this guy, that guy. And it's just like, you know what I mean? So it's like, I feel like that's why they're doing it, and I feel like it's more of like, I feel like people would be mad either way because it would be either Roman versus a Goldberg, because they're trying to get that. I feel like they build Crown Jewel a lot as like a big event, because in where do they do it? Is it Saudi? Right?
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi, that's their WrestleMania. And I've noticed that throughout the years of doing it, because why would they do a Brothers of Destruction versus DX match? That's a match that we loved in 1996, but not in 2000. You know what I mean? And it's like, I've just noticed that they have those types of matches that they're trying to like build. They're trying to have like the bigger names so they can have, because you know what I mean? Nobody's going to really know who a Johnny Gargano is out there. They're going to know a Goldberg. They're going to know Undertaker, Triple H, Shawn Michaels. So I feel like that's part of the biggest reason on why they're doing it. And I just, you know what I mean? Like, obviously he's not going to win. At least I hope he doesn't win. But it should be interesting to see what happens and see how bad Roman destroys him, because that's what I think is going to be. Because you know what I mean? Logan's small, so Logan can take the bumps, and he's proven that he could take, like, he could do the crazy moves. So you know what I mean? If Roman's going to throw him somewhere, or you know what I mean? Because that was the thing. Like, I don't want to ruin too much of the podcast, but they mentioned the Floyd match. They mentioned, he asked him, he's like, how did you feel about rolling off the ring, or how did you feel about the Brock match at SummerSlam with the tractor thing and everything? So there's just, you know what I mean? If you listen to it and everything, it just seems, you know what I mean? It just, so that's how I feel.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to say there's a lot to break down for what you've just said there. Yeah. I think there's a lot of interesting stuff. No, but there's a lot of interesting stuff as well, because
I could go on and on. You got to stop me, Steve. You know those live streams, so those 3-hour live streams, sometimes I just start talking and it goes. You know?
I love it. Yeah, honestly, feel free to keep doing it. Honestly, but what I would say is, like, when you look at this, you said that the attraction idea, if it was not that, it'd be Goldberg. I want to say thanks to the chat, by the way. We'll get to you all very, very shortly. But the idea of this attraction, like the Goldbergs, you know, we've had that previously. Goldberg was the one inside the Elimination Chamber, and like you said, there's an attraction person. Logan Paul fits that profile. If you're not going to bring in a legend from someone of old, Triple H might want to push a new guard, might want to push someone from the casual audience. From a standpoint, people of Saudi will know who a Logan Paul is. And one thing that's quite interesting as well is that Logan Paul is seen as a heel. He's booed on SmackDown. He's booed in the American audiences. Will he be booed over there? It could be the perfect show to put him in front of an audience where he might be cheered. People might welcome him in, and they might play into the story a bit more, because they only get WWE twice a year, where like the American audience gets them all the year round. But you mentioned as well the idea of who else is going to be. We've had Drew McIntyre just now. Obviously, he was a very, very credible, guy that could go for it. Karrion Kross has just come back. Braun Strowman's just come back. You probably want to build those guys up a little bit. Seth Rollins is tied up with Bobby Lashley, rules them both out. We've had Brock Lesnar numerous times. We don't need it again. No. Kevin Owens doesn't do Saudi. Sammy won't do Saudi either.
That was going to be the only other guy I could think of that possibly couldn't. They could set up the Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens thing, because people have to. They're already doing that too, because Solo came out with I did not ever think that they'd say North American Championship and show NXT highlights on the SmackDown. I was shocked. I was like, oh my God. And it just seems like they're setting that up. But yeah, he won't go to Saudi. So what is he going to do? Fight Paul Heyman?
You do it on a SmackDown. You never know, indeed. That could be interesting.
But so.
It is indeed. Well, let's go to the chat quickly and see what people have got to say, because we can always break down on other bits of topics as well, and we can get maybe some influence from the chat.
I got all day.
As well. I love you've got all day, because I've got some time as well. So everyone, feel free to get yourselves involved. Noob and Co. in the house. Hope you're doing well, Noob. Thank you for checking out the stream. Also, a shout out to Lisa as well. Says hi.
What's up, Lisa? How you doing?
Yeah, good to see.
Thanks for coming and hanging out, Lisa.
Absolutely. Mike, Talon Habs Mike in the house as well, since he has no issues with Paul getting the title shot. It's not a major pay-per-view. Too soon for Cross, as a loss to Roman hurts him bad. McIntyre can't afford another loss to Roman. So, I mean, people have got this idea of that Logan Paul could come in, be a good competitor, could be someone that could lose to Roman Reigns. It's kind of an attraction match, and then we just simply move on. So not so much hurt from that. And I think that would tick a lot of the boxes here, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and exactly. And I heard it on another podcast, and they mentioned it. And they said if Logan Paul comes in for these events where he's going to be for a Crown Jewel, a Royal Rumble, because we know damn well we're going to see Bad Bunny, we're going to see Logan Paul, we're going to see Pat McAfee, we're going to see like 4 or 5 random celebrities show up in the Royal Rumble, if he comes in for like those types of events, it's okay where he's not going to be on TV every single week shoved down our throat. Like, you know what I mean? So like exactly like we were just saying about taking the loss, or like you were just saying, who is going to take it? And if Logan Paul loses, he's just going to go make a YouTube video the next day. You know what I mean? Where like if Drew loses or Cross loses or somebody else loses, that's going to hurt him because we want to see that. Because we know we're going to see Drew and Cross probably main event Extreme Rules. Because again, I think this is also in November too. A lot can change in November. You know, it's not going to be like a Vince McMahon where he's going to change his mind. You know what I mean? Because he won't forget. Triple H ain't going to forget. But I mean, you know what I mean? A lot can change until.
Absolutely. But the thing is, what's good about it as well is that there's 7 weeks to build. So we're talking about that podcast already. Logan's going to probably be, he's probably going to be mouthing off for the next 7 weeks on this podcast. And you know that from that point onwards, people will say, right, okay, I'm not interested. Think about the people that are not interested in wrestling. Like, we're here, people in the chat, we're all here, we're going to be here anyway. Some people choose not to watch these shows, and that's their prerogative, and that's totally fine.
When I first started podcasting, because when I first started podcasting, I started doing, I was just doing football and baseball. I didn't do wrestling. It was just Tino's time. It wasn't no wrestling or anything. And my friend, when I first started wrestling, he asked me, he's like, why are you doing so much better on wrestling? And I had to explain to him the difference where it's like, there's kind of a rare kind. And I kind of call myself a rare kind because there's not many people that watch baseball, football, basketball, hockey, wrestling, stuff. You know what I mean? Where there's people that watch baseball, football, baseball, soccer, just watch wrestling, where it's just, I had to explain to him the different types of audiences because there's just, you know what I mean? There's all types of them. And people never realize how many wrestling fans there were until we go to like an event like the Allstate Arena at Hell in the Cell or something like that. And I'm like, I'm like, you guys are shocked? I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of people that like this stuff. They just, we're just usually we're afraid to say it.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, you go overseas as well. We just had Clash of the Castle. See how many people were there. There'll be a lot of people.
Oh my God. I listened to that podcast with Jonesy and NX Steve and everything. I was just like, the stories and the pictures, I was just like, oh my, in awe. And just like the way people were reacting, like it was like a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like people were literally arguing like who won and lost. Like that's something that would happen at a Super Bowl. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's crazy. And that's awesome because the experience and the atmosphere just makes it so much better going to the event because like you guys talked about not having the commentary team. It sucks. So that atmosphere makes it so much better. Well,
absolutely.
We can go in. I can go in and all that. Next subject. You got to keep me on track sometimes, Steve. I get a little off track and everything, you know.
I love it. Honestly. Well, before we get to the next comment, let's just talk about something I want to quickly talk about before I forget about it, is the idea of celebrity in wrestling. Because we've spoke about there are many credible challengers, but maybe not people that fit the role at this second. Could be too soon, could be whatever reason. But celebrity. A number of celebrities come into wrestling, and we mentioned about the modern ones there, like a Bad Bunny, that take it seriously and have done really well. Logan Paul as well. Johnny Knoxville had a great match earlier this year as well at WrestleMania, which surprised a lot of people. But you look through wrestling history. Floyd Mayweather, who's been mentioned in this podcast already, faced the Big Show, WrestleMania 24.
We didn't even mention that. I was going to bring that up if you didn't, because
there you go.
One of my favorites, WrestleMania, is not match, but that still thinking about that is crazy.
Absolutely. And that was a major attraction match. It was one of the main events on that show against the Big Show and the boxing and the knockout punch and everything. You had Lawrence Taylor, an NFL player, in 1995, WrestleMania 11, main evented WrestleMania against Bam Bam Bigelow. It wasn't the championship match. That was the main event.
Is it bad that I wasn't born yet when that happened?
It's not bad for you. It's bad for me because I was born and I was watching. So yeah, I know. Think of me. But at the same time, like we've had celebrities come all through the years in all different ways and formats, and they're always given these big profile spots and all given these big moments. Even like if they're not in the match, Mickey Rourke at WrestleMania had a big moment with Chris Jericho. They try to give them where it's standout moments, and the celebrity usually comes out on top. This could be one of the rare forms where the celebrity doesn't come out on top, but wrestling seems to give them that platform to bring in at the casual outside audience. I'm going to go in and watch it because this person is there, whether it's a match, whether it's an attraction. Like I mentioned WrestleMania 11, Pamela Anderson was on that WrestleMania, for example, walking to the ring, I believe, with Shawn Michaels. Jenny McCarthy was with Diesel. So you had like all these different people that were, there to bring new people in. And Logan Paul is just another one of those celebrities that's brought in. And they're using that celebrity name and value to try and give a bit of boost of ratings, a bit of boost of finance, and just a bit of buzz of WWE. And I think that's what Triple H is seeing here. He's actually said, I'm impressed with this guy, with what I've seen of his work ethic in the ring. He's probably impressed with what he sees out the ring, what he can bring to the company. Now is probably a good time. Let's take another celebrity name, Rob Gronkowski. How much was he around in WWE?
Oh,
he was there for WrestleMania 36. He then disappeared. He didn't stick around.
That security guard moment, they still play that. Like, they did a documentary about Brady, and they did a documentary, and part of it was on Gronkowski, and they talked about that security like moment. And it's just funny how many like how bad that security guard like probably felt, but just like how much it like travels around through like the NFL, wrestling, like you know what I mean? Like, he really was. He did that, and then he did the WrestleMania with Mojo and won the 24/7 title. That was about it. I was waiting for a tag team match. I was waiting for them to put the titles on the line, and Mojo and Rob go to New England with Brady and be the champs. You know?
But that's the question then. What if something like that happened? Because Gable Steveson as well, he was meant to be like a top guy who was drafted on Raw last year. Nothing's happened with the guy. Exactly.
Who? Where? Last time we saw him was what, WrestleMania? He came out and they did a little introduction to let us know we didn't forget about him.
Yeah.
Was that WrestleMania or SummerSlam?
Yeah, pretty much. WrestleMania. He had the moments with Alpha Academy, and Triple H with the Errol Hawani interview said he was going to do something with Gable at one point, but obviously that was not to be in the end. Obviously, and thankfully with the health stuff and that, Triple H is.
I think that they think. I'm sorry to cut you off. My bad.
I
think they think that we forget. We remember these vignettes. We remember Emelina. We remember all these random people they were going to bring and random things that they brought for weeks. We don't forget. I think that they think us wrestling people, wrestling geeks, like don't have memory loss or something. Because I remember all of it. You know what I mean? Like they killed Ezekiel off, and they said they're giving him time off to grow his beard back. It's just like, oh my God.
Well, I mean, that would be probably a good fit. I think Elias is the one that works. I mean, don't get me wrong. I did geek out with Zeke occasionally, but I think the gimmick was there was no end goal to it. It just didn't seem to work for me.
Just an example, though, where it just like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the thing, like with like these celebrities too, like they're like Triple H knows what, like, he's not going to bring in celebrity where they're not going to put in the effort. He's mentioned it a bunch of times with Logan and Bad Bunny. They were at Bad Bunny moved to Orlando. He stayed across the street. He walked to the gym. He was there every morning. He was there before the wrestlers. I think it was Xavier Woods or Big E showed up, and Bad Bunny was there before them. And they're like, what is this guy doing? But he wanted it that bad, and to prove everybody that he could be this. And that's why he did it. And that's the people that I love and respect, because as being a wrestling fan for so long, I don't want these people just to come in and look sloppy, because we've seen that where it's like, you know what I mean? Some of the do you remember when they had the celebrity guest thing every single Monday Night Raw?
Yeah.
I recently listened to a podcast. I've been watching a lot of wrestling podcasts and listening to them, and they said I didn't realize how long that went. I was like, why it went for that long? And they were like, because it was with Maria and she was talking about it, and I was just like, wow, it went for like almost like a year, and I was just like, really? I thought it was like a summer.
It went for a long time. I couldn't tell you exactly how long it went for now, but it did go for a very long time. A question I wanted to ask you, though, obviously, when I was saying that with a lot of the celebrities and stuff, and when we mentioned Gronk, obviously, I mentioned Gabe Stevenson, obviously, nothing's really happened since. We don't know what will happen with these celebrities long term. Does it feel like that for that reason, then it's good to just shoot the shot now? We've got Logan Paul. He's coming in. He's doing appearances, like you say. These are sort of the shows he's going to be on. So why not do the title match now? It's a good way to just showcase things.
Yeah. And I mean, if they're going to do something with Gable Stevenson, we saw Omos return on Monday. Why don't they have him versus Gable as a giant? We haven't seen one of those like giant monster versus monster like matchups. We kind of have, but like remember when like Undertaker and Great Khali would like face each other in the rivalry? Just like, you know what I mean? Like, why can't we just get, like, I've talked about it a lot. Like, why can't we just get like normal rivalries? Why does there always have to be a title on the line? Somebody's got to be. If we got to put Dominic's life on the line between Ray and Rhea Ripley, and you know what I mean? Like, why can't we just have like normal rivalries with people that can maybe feed off each other? Maybe they work well together that they don't know. You know, you don't know if you don't try. That's all I say. It don't work. It don't work. But you got to throw Hail Marys out there sometimes.
Absolutely, indeed, absolutely, and obviously that's what they've done here with the Logan Paul and Roman Reigns thing. So, last thing I want to talk about, and then I literally want to go straight for just comments, literally from that point onwards. So, everyone that's been waiting patiently, thank you. We'll get your comments up. I want to talk about the press conference this evening. Have you seen any of the press conference?
No, I have not. No, I have not. I actually forgot it was on. So, if you want to fill me in on all that, that would be great. I'll probably watch it after, but yeah, I haven't seen nothing. I thought it was on tomorrow. I don't know.
So a lot of the key moments really have come through. Obviously, Triple H made the big announcement of this. Roman Reigns has said, like, you're welcome to have your third match on one of my shows, but to actually come and be in the championship match, it's kind of that idea of like, you got to learn to crawl before you can walk. You got to walk before you can run. You're coming up to my level now where the shark is, Logan Paul has said that he wanted to do this his whole life. He said that he is someone, just that one shot, just like he said on SmackDown, that one shot. What if he can do it, land that one shot and become the champion? So that's what they're sort of trying to build this match on, to get that lucky sort of stance. We had a situation where Paul Heyman and Logan Paul were sort of having a discussion, let's just say, on the podium. Logan maybe said something a little bit out of term again, and maybe saying your boy or whatever. And, it's like, that's my tribal chief. I'm not his boy. That's my tribal chief. You see Roman go up and we get an altercation. The big shove between the two. We see then that's kind of a little bit of physicalness as well, just to give that press conference a feel. And the match is set then for Crown Jewel. So, I mean, that's pretty much the press conference that of the great details that we got from it. WWE shared a lot of those on their Twitter feed as well. But all in all, I will say that I know a lot of people will be negative about the idea of this. I can see what the positives of what they're trying to do with this, and that's why I'm on board. I think if I realistically thought that Logan Paul was going to be the next David Arquette and win the World Championship, I would be very negative along with everybody else. But I am no doubt at all. This is almost like a house show feeling that this show they're going to go into, even though they're always going to promote these shows quite big and heavy. But I do believe that Roman Reigns is going to retain. That way, I don't feel so bothered about it, and I feel that let's just look and see what gains we can get and if we can grow the wrestling community in WWE and raise those television ratings.
Exactly. And that's because it's on it's on a Saturday morning, right? Or Saturday afternoon. It's kind of like on the same time.
States-wise, yeah.
And that's the thing, you know what I mean? That people seem to forget, bringing in Logan Paul, like I mentioned, with my cousin, and I said it earlier, they're going to all watch it. They're all going to sit through it. They're all going to watch, unless they started with it, but I don't know if they're going to start with it. And it's just that type of you know what I mean? Where it's just that type of presence of Logan Paul is going to be, you know what I mean? It's not, I know I say, what do you mean? 17 times. It's not, it's not like a Hell in the Cell pay-per-view, you know what I mean? Where it's more of, like you said, like a house show pay-per-view where it's, so I don't know.
It's not WrestleMania. It's not. If
this was the main event of WrestleMania and I was going to Hollywood to see this, I would have a panic attack. But that it's not,
Yeah, and I totally agree with that. I think this is the right placement, right time. I think Logan could get the reaction in that show the WWE wants, but he's probably not going to get it on SmackDown. I prefer Logan be a heel really going forward. I think that's more fits his style and his character. But for this match, how they're going to do it, let's see how it play out. I actually think it's going to surprise people, and I do think that people will actually look back at it and think it was a good match when we look at it in hindsight afterwards. But let's go to the chat and see what they've got to say. C Nation Dog here says, I know Logan Paul will not win the Undisputed WWE Universal Championship, but if he did, I would laugh so hard. How do you think Twitter would react if Logan Paul did the miracle? Over 700 days, Roman's been champion, and he loses it to Logan Paul.
This would be my reaction watching the live stream, because I just wouldn't even know what to say. I would be in shock. I would just be like, what am I watching? What, really? I would have to turn off my TV, because what? Come on. The only person that should beat Roman is Cody. That's how I feel.
I like that. If Cody
that's how I feel about that, but I would laugh. I agree with C Nation. I would laugh so hard.
The person that beats Roman at this point is a main eventer for life. That's literally going to be their role.
Because you also have to think, when Roman loses, he's going to take some time off. There's no way this man, after as long as he's been champion, and yes, he's been doing whatever, but the only reason why he's still doing it, what he's doing, is because he has the championships. He's going to take 4 or 5 months off and then go and come back at SummerSlam. I feel like that's what.
if that's how they choose to do it, which could be quite interesting how they will go about. Sinister says he's heard that Roman Reigns may vacate the WWE Championship. I personally haven't heard this rumor by anywhere, so I wouldn't want to endorse it at this point. But what I would say is that for me, Roman Reigns shouldn't vacate any championship. People should win them. I would say that the best way to go about it for the WWE Championship would probably be like a triple threat match or something like that, where Roman doesn't have to be involved in the decision. That way he remains strong to when he eventually loses the Universal Championship, it actually really puts over the person, because Roman, when he's had that length of reign for that length of time, the Universal Championship is the one that matters. But as Mike goes on to say here, the USA Network wants a full-time champion. He actually sees Triple H stripping Roman of the WWE title. It keeps Roman strong. Use Survivor Series to have a tournament for the WWE title. What would you like to see happen with the WWE title? Do you want to see it come away from Roman Reigns, or do you happy to see him with both championships?
So my prediction is I think what they should do is they should have it where if they're going to do like a 2-night event, or if they're going to do like one of the things, or like even if it is at WrestleMania, have Roman defend the one title each night. So say if it is Roman and The Rock, have Roman defend the title, which I don't think he needs the title for the match, but hypothetically he still has it. Have him defend one title versus somebody on one night, and then have him defend the title on the second night, if they want to have him keep it until WrestleMania. But for stripping, I don't think they're going to strip him. I think that more they would do like you said, like a triple threat or something like that, where he wouldn't get pinned, where somebody like a Happy Corbin would get pinned, or somebody that wouldn't lose the steam, that where it wouldn't hurt them, because they need to find a way to get one title off of him. There's no way, because even if he vacates it, what is he going to say? I'm helping Raw. I'm helping my show. It's my tribal. I'm the tribal chief, so I'm going to help Triple H. I don't see them really like doing that, because then that would be like, why? Well, then why did you hold the title for so long? Why didn't you do this 6 months ago, or however long ago, when you were taking all this time off? And why is Seth and Bobby main eventing when you should be? Not that I'm not looking forward to that match. I just, you know what I mean? The United States Championship is the most prestigious title on Raw now.
It is at this particular moment, absolutely. And as Mike said, that maybe stripping the title would be the best way if they're not going to do some form of match. We'll have to wait and see how it would play out. Nubiko says, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing a popular YouTuber in Logan Paul getting his first shot at the WWE Undisputed Championship. So, I mean, the thing is, there are people out there that are keen on seeing it.
Same thing my cousin said. He literally texts me and like, I'm just like, bro, like, I don't know. It's not happening. Go away.
Yeah. C Nation says also Solo Sikoa showing up with the NXT North American Championship on SmackDown reminds me when Kevin Owens showed up with the NXT Championship on Raw and SmackDown. I've got to say quickly, slightly off topic of the video, but I said any topic from this point onwards, throw it in. You're welcome to in the chat. Let's go for it. Let's talk things professional wrestling. I love the presentation of Solo Sikoa on SmackDown so far. It has been inch perfect. The way that he helped Roman at Clash of the Castle, the way he's come in, he's the street fighter. He was happy to go straight against Drew McIntyre last week. He didn't lose that match either. Okay, yes, he didn't win it either at the time, but he didn't lose it. They had the build up with the carrying cross and Drew McIntyre match. But now he's going to win the North American Championship. He's brought that to SmackDown. He's defending it on SmackDown as well. He's now got gold to the Tribal Chief, to the Bloodline, which means Sammy, again, is the only one without gold. You've got the situation as well where it promotes NXT. The idea of like, well, Solo Sikoa's got a championship match on NXT. This guy's doing wonders on Friday on Fox. I got to go and check this guy out on NXT. They're doing some great things here with Solo. I love his presentation.
Exactly. I love it too. We were saying, I don't know. I might have said this earlier. I know I said it at some point, but seeing them talk about, or seeing Michael Cole say the North American Championship on Raw or SmackDown, or just the NXT highlights, or going back to NXT, they're just involving it more, where it's like before they weren't doing it, and you weren't like that. I think that's part of the reason why a lot of people don't know about NXT. But now people, like you said, are going to want to go check in on Solo Sikoa, because you could relate to him more. You know what I mean? Where I feel like he's somebody, like, especially like if the Usos can't go to Saudi, which they can't, Roman's going to want to bring somebody. It's going to be Solo. And it's going to, that's something else that I think Solo will be. I feel like Solo is going to be on the side of Roman there, and he'll be helping him kind of distract Paul or whatever. But everything that they've done with Solo so far is great, and it hasn't done anything. Like you don't change what's the saying? You don't fix what's not broke.
Exactly.
Like you don't, you know what I mean? Like, and that's the thing that they've done with a lot of these guys. Where if this is what should have been happening with everybody, them coming up to the main roster with Solo Sikoa. Nothing changed. It's not Solo Sakia or so, you know what I mean? Something random that they come up with where that's what we remember him as, where it's like when he comes out, he's like, you know, I want to see an action figure with Solo with the towel, kind of like Kane. That like it just the way they present him is awesome in every way. Where it's like I feel like once this bloodline thing is kind of like fades away eventually, because how long, you know what I mean? It's not going to go on for 8 years. Solo could be that guy that could be like an Intercontinental United States champion, and hey, he could even be one day in WWE champion. And I love just the way they're bringing him in, and they're still involving NXT where we're not forgetting, and we're not, you know what I mean? Because like I mentioned, and I asked you in one of your videos last time, what are they going to do with Carmelo? Where we haven't seen Carmelo, but we're seeing the North American Championship. So I wonder, and NXT has also been taped apparently for the last 2 weeks.
It has indeed.
I don't think, and I didn't know this, I don't think we're not going to see, we're still going to see the 2.0 for a few weeks, and then we'll probably see the black and white or black and gold, whatever that may be. And I feel like they did that so then they can give them time to set up what the stage may be. You know what I mean? Because it's going to take time to set that up if they're obviously rebranding everything.
Absolutely, yeah.
And you got to do something with the North American title. I feel like if it's already taped, he's got to do something.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that match was great. I didn't think it was going to be Madcap. I was surprised by that match on Friday. I liked it a lot. Madcap is very impressive. I guess Emelina's helping him out.
Yeah, you never know. Ed Fry says, let's get Roman the big win or have Logan shock the world and out the titles on Theory. Imagine Theory best to cash in on that show.
That's the other thing. What is Theory allowed in Saudi? Is Theory, maybe he cashes in. Like that's something else you have to worry about. Where, you know what I mean? He might, I don't know.
Well, that would be if you're getting an outside casual audience in, that's the way to get someone new over that isn't Logan Paul, that isn't Roman Reigns. That could be a way to do it. You never know. Richard says, I see Roman Reigns to strip only the WWE Universal Championship and keep the WWE Championship to be seen, just make it happen. So he wants that one to go. I mean, as I said, I think the Universal Championship is the one that's been kept the longest. So that one feels the more prestigious reign of the two.
Can they just change the design as soon as possible? I'm tired of that ugly ass blue title. Like it needs to be like something better.
It has to be. Well,
I don't know how you feel about that, but I just don't like that title design.
Title designs, I believe that they're going to be changed soon. I don't know which ones will and won't be, but I've seen that. I've seen a couple of ones go around the internet, but they don't seem where I feel the legit sources to credit them much or give them proper comments.
I know. Everybody, I could make one of those in 2 minutes, 20 minutes if I wanted, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. But no, I think it does need a bit of a change. I think a lot of them do. Mainly the IC title is the one I want to see changed. C Nation says, I'd like to see Pat McAfee versus Logan Paul at WrestleMania 39. Celebrity versus celebrity.
Book it.
You heard it.
I'm down. Book it. Put it in a steel cage too.
Oh, there we go.
Let's see it. I'll say that though. While I know we're not on the subject at all, but I know you should do it. Maybe we should do a podcast together on this. Every match at Extreme Rules better have a goddamn stipulation, or I'm not watching it. I'm over the theme pay-per-views. Like, you know what I mean? I went to Hell in the Cell. Every match should have been in Hell in the Cell. I want to see him just tear it down. You know, by the main event, all four walls are down. Cody and Seth, do what you got to do.
Seems fair. I like it.
I just want to see stipulations. That was the best part of it. I mean, even like what they did on NXT, I know this is kind of off topic, like doing the votes and stuff. That was cool. That was like the Cyber Sunday, Taboo Tuesday vibes. I felt like I was 14 again.
I mean, I wish I could say I felt like I was 14 watching Taboo Tuesday, but that's not the case. We've established that already, though. We don't need to go into that.
I'm so sorry, Steve. Don't kick me out yet.
Just rubbing it in all the time.
Man, I'm so sorry.
Don't worry, Tino, man. I don't mind. C-Nation says he'd also like to see Braun Strowman versus Omos. I can't say I'd be crazy about that, but we're given the idea of Omos doing something. It's crazy now. Omos beat Riddle earlier this year. Now Riddle doing better than Omos right now. Just go to show a Vince McMahon guy to a Triple H guy, but Riddle was getting over under both.
I mean, you could put the pictures together of like the four people that like Vince liked and Triple H liked, and it's just completely different.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. We've got Sean in the house. Thank you for checking out the stream, Sean. Hope you're doing well. We've also got here Lubico says, if Logan Paul wins the Undisputed WWE title, not only does Twitter get a meltdown, but imagine YouTube goes up in flames if
Oh
Logan Paul
my god.
wins.
Imagine some of the YouTube creators that like do some of the oh my god, imagine. I would just want to sit on YouTube and listen to everybody's post shows. That's all. It would just be so great.
It would be. It would be awesome to see. And to be honest, really, I kind of feel in the back of my head that the viewership would actually go through the roof. But I think it would. The day that Roman drops those titles is going to be a big day for, like you said, for every podcaster to watch every show, to see everyone's reaction, because it's going to be a really strange feeling the day that Roman does walk out without those championships.
Yeah, and what's next? Because that's going to be the big question, especially if it's not Cody.
Well, I'm wondering, I mean, Cody could be the one, but I do feel as well that Roman's held it for that long. And I keep hearing rumblings about a babyface turn at some point.
I don't know.
What if the Bloodline 1 point turns on Roman? What if Solo is like that guy that would actually turn on Roman Reigns at some point and actually lead the Usos after WrestleMania?
I mean, maybe, because if you see the interaction that Solo has, like even with like Sami Zayn, I feel like part of it with the three of them, I feel like Jimmy and Jay is kind of scared of Solo a little, because once Solo was like, "Come on, Sammy," Jay and Jimmy were like, okay, I'll just like, they didn't say much. But if Jimmy says it, Jay's like, hey, I don't like Sammy. Sammy just, Jay just has a problem. Right hand man don't like being the third right hand man.
Absolutely not. No, when he was main event Jay not so long ago, and not quite.
He loved that time. He was living the high life. He was the only Oos. Now he's got three of them. He got put back. The wise man's the second Oos, so he got put all the way back to the line. He's probably feeling left out.
At one point, many people thought he should have been the one to dethrone Roman, but it's changed
after the Hell in the Cell match, I didn't know what the hell to expect next.
Absolutely. Just say quickly, by the way, I've just had C Nation's comment on a second ago about Solo Sikoa needing to be added to the Bloodline T-shirt with the North American Championship. Totally agree. I need Sammy in the background as well, just sort of lurking around,
that picture that they took. What was it? Was it this past Friday they took? Make it a T-shirt.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because I bought this T-shirt and then they came out with the next I'm just like, and then that's when I realized like there's no point in getting excited about the T-shirts because they make new ones and they just like wait for a clearance sale and buy like 4 of them for $20 or something,
Easy way to do
it.
I'm
just like, dang. I was so excited, and then Roman comes out in a new T-shirt and I'm like, I'm already late. I'm already off the bandwagon.
It's got to keep up with the Bloodline. It's not easy. It's not easy.
They need to give me a call. I'll come in behind Sammy. I'll be little Sammy.
Yeah. I'll be down for that. I'll be down for that.
That'd be great.
So Nation says, I heard WWE do not want Roman Reigns to take one loss before WrestleMania. I have heard the same reports, but I have also heard that they are open creatively to try and separate those championships. Be interested to see how they would actually eventually do it, if they do it at all.
Yeah, I just hope, like, the one thing I will say is, I don't know if you noticed, do you watch like Dynamite and Rampage eventually?
I do.
Like, I know it's like different time zones, everything. I noticed that they do a lot of the same things. Like, like they just did a tournament for the women's titles. Then AEW does a tournament. It's just like, you know what I mean? I feel like there's so many similarities, and I get it. But it's also like, why can't there be like different? You know what I mean? I don't want to see the same thing if I'm watching 4 days of wrestling every week.
Yeah,
it's a lot of wrestling, And not that the tournament's been bad. I just think like there should be like different ways of being able to do it. Like maybe having like what happened to like the Fatal 5-Ways or what? Like I don't know how you felt. Did you like the championship scramble matches back? Like was it like 2008?
2008, 2009. Yeah, so. they were fine. They were okay.
I mean, just something like some type of like be creative. That's pretty. You know what I mean? Like people can't be this like unless if it's just lazy booking, unless if it's just straight that. You know what I mean? But like, I feel like if people were just a little bit more creative with finding ways of doing these matches and stuff, it would just be more fun. Especially with the internet, everything involved. You know what I mean? Because that's what people want to do. They all want to be involved, because, that's why, the Q&As are so much fun, getting everybody involved, talking to people, meeting new people. It just,
that's what it's all about. That's what we love. For anyone that's watching, keep the comments coming in. We will attempt to catch up, but we're only about 10 minutes behind at the minute, which is thankfully not too bad. Sometimes they can get out of hand, these ones, usually.
I know.
So we're not doing too,
Sometimes I just stop chatting. Sometimes I just stop chatting because it's just so crazy. I'm like, poor Steve. I'll just let him go and finish and get some time.
You're good, man. Don't you worry. Nubico says Solo Sikoa not only being presented on the main roster very well, but Io Sky being presented like a star, dressed like a star, cut a promo like a star. Why Vince and now Triple H didn't present Asuka like a star? I would disagree on the Asuka bit. She has been presented. I mean, she's had long reigns as women's champion. Asuka's had opportunities at the top. I would say that Asuka of NXT wasn't presented the same way on the main roster, but she's been a champion on multiple different occasions. But I would agree, Io Sky also being presented like a star as well. Damage Control, they're looking pretty good as a trio. But obviously this week they had a bit of a runoff with Shotzi and Raquel. What were your thoughts with that?
I'm so happy Shotzi turned a babyface. Can we get Blackheart back now? Shotzi Blackheart.
Yeah.
We forgot her name. And then can she bring back the tank and can Triple H come out with her and do the DX thing? That would be great. That would be great. Seriously though, that's and that was the thing I've been thinking about also. A lot of the people that Triple H has recently brought in, Damage Control, Io Sky, he brought back Johnny Gargano. You know, those people, they're not doing anything. So Triple H can start with them clean slate. Somebody like Asuka, Asuka's been on the main roster. Asuka's been a babyface. She's been a heel, kinda. Has she been a real heel on the main roster?
Under Kabuki Warriors, I would say she was heel for a stage.
A little bit, but not you know what I mean? There's just she needs to do I don't know, they're just what I'm trying to say is I guess she's been on the main roster for so long that maybe Triple H doesn't feel like he can completely fix it, so maybe he wants to take more time. I don't know, but I just feel like the people he's brought back since he's taken in charge have been presented perfectly the way that we've always wanted them to be presented, because they're not doing anything on the main roster. They're just, you know what I mean, they were in NXT or they don't have any plans. So Triple H was able to okay, let me sit down, come up with a plan. Not Asuka's in a feud or a tag team with Doudrop or, you know what I mean? What are they going to, that was you know what I mean? Perfect example. Nikki, Ash, and Doudrop. I feel like Triple H wants to put Piper and Evan back. He wants to bring back Nikki. But they've been in a tag team and they don't have any other women's tag team. So they're kind of teasing it, but they can't really do it completely until they find more tag teams or Sasha and I, you know what I mean? Where I just feel that when that's how I feel with the new people coming in, with people that have been there, and nothing with the people that have been there. I feel that he's doing what he can, and he's obviously doing. I just feel like the people that have just recently came back are getting presented perfectly compared to somebody like Asuka that we know would be presented perfectly in a Triple H era, because we saw what he did there in NXT.
That's a really good point you make there, because like you said, he created the Oscar era in NXT. There is a chance he can come along again, but all these people you brought in, if they look like they're really weak really quickly, it doesn't bode well for those that are coming back. So that's a really good point, and it's a good idea to sort of say these people need to be pushed well and treated well. It's almost the same as why some people shouldn't be going against Roman here at Crown Jewel, and why Logan Paul is filling the spot, because if it's Braun Strowman and Karrion Kross just come back, take an L.
Karrion Kross is a perfect example. When he was in the Triple H era, or not Triple H, when he was in the Vince McMahon era, he was bald, came out in a skirt, he had a mask. When he came out with Triple H, people didn't even realize it was Karrion Kross until you saw Scarlett, because he had hair, he had a jacket, he had pants on, completely different presentation. Where it's if he came out bald, people would be like, why is Karrion Kross? Wasn't he wearing you know what I mean? Where I just feel just having the hair made it feel a little bit better. And everything he's doing is great. And I just feel that is one attribute that just, maybe he didn't do it on purpose, but it definitely helps, because I just feel people didn't realize who it was. And they, thank goodness, can forget about what the hell Vince McMahon did to poor Karrion Kross.
Absolutely. Well, let's try and pretend it never happened. I think that's the best way to be.
Well, didn't you wake up on Wednesday? Wasn't it Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa match great on NXT last night? I saw that meme and it was so great. I was like, yup. I texted my friend because he loved, because we tried to get tickets when they were in Chicago, when that NXT was in Chicago and Johnny and Tommaso were fighting. We weren't able to go, but it's his favorite rivalry and everything. And I said to him, he's like, yup. I was just, you know what I mean? Let's forget about all of it.
Sounds sweet. You mentioned Shotzi, by the way, and Triple H being on the tank. Maybe they can invade AEW Dynamite at some point. That'd be quite fun to see. Just like the old days. That would be.
Oh, God. We got another exciting week of AEW. Grand Slam, 2 days of Grand Slam, 15 more matches. I'm so excited. Yeah.
Absolutely. Predictions coming on this channel tomorrow.
Hey,
I hope you're there to view it.
I'll be there. I'm doing my own predictions next week. So
sweet. Can't wait to check them out. Make sure to follow Tino on YouTube, by the way, everyone.
I live there. I'm there all the time.
He is. He's literally taking over. He's literally Tino's time all the time. That's what it is. So.
I think I need to change my name because that's what it's becoming. Like, I feel like I need to yeah. I spend more time with you guys than I do anybody else. My dog looked at me a couple days ago. It's like, what the hell?
That's fair play, man. Fair play. Well, C Nation here said when Solo first showed up at Clash, my dad thought it was one of the Usos because he doesn't watch NXT. And I told my dad, it's not the Usos, it's Solo Sikoa. It's the third Us. That is literally it. He is the third Us. Hey. And the Bloodline are way better than the Shield.
I'm happy his dad knows who the Usos are. I asked my parents who the Usos are, and my mom watches my live streams and stuff. She still has no idea. I wear this T-shirt. She's like, "Who's the Usos?"
I mean, to be fair, I'm the only one in my family that follows wrestling. So, but the Bloodline are way better than the Shield. Tino, would you agree with this, or do you disagree at this point?
I would tell you what, I want to see that. I want to see dream match. I might go do that in 2K tonight because that would be all. I never even thought about that, but I don't know about better. I just think obviously blood is thicker than water, so obviously the Bloodline because. That was the other thing. I don't want to ruin I don't want to ruin the podcast if people haven't seen it. So they also do talk about that, and he talks how close, and he talks a little bit about like they're growing up and with the Usos and how close they really were. So it makes more sense. But I personally love the Shield more, but I think the Bloodline is better because blood is thicker than water.
Absolutely. Well, all I'm going to say is for now, for me, it's too soon to say which side is better than the other. Obviously, the Shield are one of the best groups in the last 10 years. Bloodline are on their way, I think, to overtaking it. They're on their way.
Roman's going to be one of those people that goes in the Hall of Fame like 4 times. You've seen the Bloodline, the Shield, himself. I mean, what's next?
I mean, put it this way as well with the Shield. This shows how good the Shield were. Roman dominates all of WWE, but more or less is dominating SmackDown. Seth is still like the top guy near enough on Raw.
He's winning United States champion on Monday. Bold prediction right here on SCW.
That is a bold. I like bold predictions as well. Thank you for doing a bold prediction there for us. And John Moxley's in the top championship match in AEW. It just goes to show the Shield still kind of run the show. They're up there. If Solo and the Usos, by the time they hang up their boots, are on the same level as what Seth and Mox and what Roman's doing, obviously then you definitely say, but.
I hope in a perfect world that Renee and John can get their butts on the phone with Triple H. They can have a conversation, and we can all be happy, and we can all see all 3 of them together stand at the Hall of Fame or make some type of, obviously not now, but some point.
Some point. You never know when some point will be.
Some point. We all might be old, but I don't want to see it.
Oh, if you're old, then I'm older.
I keep making the jokes and I don't mean to do it. I'm so sorry, Steve.
I play along, don't you worry. Sination says, I heard that WWE Tag Team Titles is getting a new design soon. I've heard the same, but we haven't seen anything legit yet. I'm excited to see what would come. Sination says, Mansoor, sorry.
Oh my God, I can't. After the back to school, I can't with them. With the back to, I'm sorry to cut you off, but oh my God, the back to school thing was too much for me. I couldn't do it.
It was a different level. That was probably the first time I was like, "This is." It was always been cringe, but I felt I could go with it. But yeah, there was a little bit last time. But Braun interrupted nice and swiftly, and LA Knight seems to be definitely making a comeback soon. It feels like LA Knight will.
You heard LA, right? You heard. I
did, right? Okay, and you saw the little look. He was like, it's there. It's coming.
My friend texted me and he goes, "Is LA Knight coming back?" I'm like, "You didn't see the thing last week where he said the night to the moon and then LA?" I'm like, "Come on, man. You got to pay attention to
it's coming." To be fair, imagine mainstream audience him coming. Let me talk to you. Yeah,
exactly.
I can't wait for the guy is going to be over like Rover.
It's going to be so good.
It's going to be awesome.
He's somebody too that could be a future champion and that could very well be the face because he's just somebody that is likable. You could hate him. You could hate to like him. He just has everything that he's hiding behind glasses and whatever hair they're doing to him right now.
Absolutely. He's been doing the Maxine Male stuff, but didn't he look a little bit at Maxine a bit funny? It felt like Maxine was like brainwashing the guy. It was like, snap out of that LA Knight thing. You're not doing that. You're with us. You're with the Maximum Male models.
I mean, wouldn't you get dazed and confused by her too? I get dazed watching it.
I'm a happily married man. I can't really come on this stuff anymore.
See, well, I can't. See, I don't have that. I'm single and have no girlfriend, so.
Ladies, Tino's time. That's all
I'm
saying.
Right?
You know what I mean?
This is turning into a wrestling channel, chat. It's turning into try to get Tino a girlfriend.
And literally, this is turning into The Bachelor. You know, we're gonna have everyone lined up.
Don't
got the dates.
Don't even go with the back. We could do talks. I watched that with my grandma, and I cannot deal with that show at all. I can't. I just can't. It's too much. It's I just can't. It's the biggest Bachelor event in history, and it's this and that, and then it's everybody crying and breaking up, and then it just makes no sense. I'll go on The Bachelor, make money, fall in love with a girl, break her heart, and like I really wouldn't, but like it just seems like that's what these people do. Go on the show, fall in love, and then everybody leaves, and it's just
we want love to win, everybody.
Yeah, it's not real love. It's just. So. Oh yeah, let's get back to wrestling. Let's talking about
wrestling. Let's get back to wrestling. I think the WWE retired the 24/7 championship.
I hope so. Unless they give it to Sammy. Sammy equals 24/7 title, then don't bring it back.
I'd like. There's all these rumors of designing championships. I'd like Sami Zayn to design his own championship.
Oh my God, that would be great for the documentary. I know they never came out with it. He talked a little bit about that on the Broken Skull session with Stone Cold, and how apparently it never got finished. They had all the film, but they never did anything with it. That would be great if he would do something where it's like that was like the thing that they gave him instead of the documentary or something like it was like a trophy. He's got to have something just to fit in for the Usos for like just a little bit longer before Kevin Owens can come up and help his BFF.
It needs to drag out just a little bit longer. I totally agree.
Because that's what's happening. It's got to. It seems like it's the only thing that can.
Absolutely. Where's Robert Roode been? I don't actually know, but
I don't know. TNA.
he's still employed by WWE.
I mean, is he?
He's really? Still employed. He's still there.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him at all. I haven't even seen him on Up, Up, Down, Down. Usually, if a guy isn't on TV for a while, Xavier Woods invites him on Up, Up, Down, Down and stuff.
Well, I mean, that's maybe where we find him. Station, check it out. You never know. We'll do the last few, and then we'll probably try and look to wrap things up unless we get a backload of questions that keep us going. Roman Reigns, the longest double champion in WWE. Most double champion reigns are short. That's usually very true. Roman Reigns is carrying the flag of what it is. And we've got another suggestion here as well. Roman Reigns is beating Walter's championship record. Certainly is. I would love Roman Reigns versus Gunther at some point in 2023. Would you like to see that match?
That would be amazing. I would love to see that. And especially the way Imperium is another one, especially the way that it's been presented the last few weeks and just the way that Fatal 4-Way match. I don't know how you felt about that Fatal 4-Way tag team match on Friday, but I thought it was great. And everybody got the time that they deserved. They showed a little bit that they could. They you know what I mean? And I'm still getting used to watching. Every time I see Giovanni Vinci, I'm still thinking I'm watching Tuesday nights. That's how off my days are sometimes. I'm like, what? But then I'm like, oh yeah, he's in Imperium now, and it's still getting used to. But it just it's so good that it just you know what I mean? Where it just I guess I just trust Triple H to know that he's not gonna do anything, and that's where all this Logan Paul stuff. I know Triple H isn't gonna do anything to put somebody in a bad position there. He's not gonna put somebody out there if he knows they can't do it. He trusts Logan to obviously go out there with the head of the table, Roman Reigns, for some reason. And we obviously might not know why, but he's proven it to Triple H because Triple H isn't just going to give it to somebody. You know what I mean? That's like us going, he's proven it to Triple H. He said it in all of his interviews and everything that he ever talks about. I don't know. I don't know how you feel because you've obviously, did all of these guys ever do, open up this much? I know wrestling has kind of gotten, more, open and everything, not kayfabe, but it just seems like all of these guys now go on all of these podcasts and everything, and it just has it always been like that, or
no.
That's what I thought, because it's not I feel like this just recently started happening.
I mean, like back in like the 90s, early noughties, like you'd find like the shoot interview. That was like the thing in the heyday, like in the Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression. You'd have a wrestler that had probably left the company or not been wrestling WWE for a couple of hours, and all of a sudden you get Shawn Michaels or whoever, Bret Hart, the shoot interview. And it was like that's when they'd air a bit of dirty laundry. You'd probably get a bit of insight. That was your only time you get it. So it kind of, in a way, was. But it's much more common today. Like you can see, like there's so many podcasters we see who have the likes to interview so many different superstars, whether they're from like it's WWE or AEW, Impact Wrestling. We see so many of them, and like it seems to be a lot more open, and because the world has changed, the platforms have changed. It's a way to get yourselves out there more. But back in those days, yeah, you'd probably, if you were, and the thing is, you'd be lucky to find that as well. But like it could even be like a Jim Cornette the shoot interview. You'd have to go out your way. These days, Jim Cornette's he's got everything he needs to say on a YouTube channel where everyone's there saying it. So it's a different era altogether.
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, you could listen to podcasts and anything anywhere, and it seems like every podcast is uploaded on everything. Like, and that was the thing I never noticed. Like, I never thought, I never knew that they were all like uploaded on Spotify. Like, I recently learned, like a year ago, learned that, and I've like been listening to all of them like nonstop, just trying to catch up. But it's just crazy.
It's a difficult task, my friend. It's a difficult task. Sid Nation says if Seth freaking Rollins wins the United States Championship this Monday on Raw, then he'll be the second two-time Grand Slam champion after The Miz. There we go.
Seth Rollins is my new BFF. He was recently on the Bears podcast, and was a Chicago Bears fan here, and he was typing up the Bears, and he was this and that. He was. I just fell in love with Seth Rollins even more. Listen to him talk about the Bears. Man, I really hope Seth wins because he deserves to have a title. Nothing against Bobby and everything, but if they're going to make that the main title, why not give it to Seth? And why not act like that's the title everybody's going to go after?
I mean, it's still the title everyone goes after. Phil Lashley's had a hell of a run in recent weeks. But
nothing against Bobby. I love Bobby too. I just think, that name, you put Seth Rollins' name out, I feel like it's more, more attractive than.
I still need Bobby versus Gunther at Survivor Series. I've got to say that now. I can't have that taken away from me. I think Riddle is going to make that still happen. Riddle's going to cost Seth and Raw. That's my hope.
I didn't even think about that. They love their DQs or interferences. Yep, that's exactly what's going to happen on Monday.
Give me the fight pit at Extreme Rules. That's what I need for Seth Rollins.
I said that recently I said that to somebody. I was like, I want to see the fight pit because that was awesome. That is such an underrated match. And no people, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. Him and Timothy Thatcher, great. I love that. Like, where are those types of matches, man? Like, they're just not creative anymore.
I mean, they only done them in the last couple of years. They brought them back. We just need to see it on the main roster. It would be nice to have it there. Like, you know.
I still think we're getting war games. They're setting up war games. There's too many 5-on-3 things. There's too many things. There's too many like rivalries going on where I feel like there's 5-on-5 or 4-on-4 that I just feel like they're setting something up that something's going to happen.
Absolutely. Richard Rose, I love this. Always got the great comments coming in with this. He heard that Roman Reigns has taken a long vacation till WrestleMania Backlash. Could you imagine it?
Oh my God.
I'll
go. No, just please.
Maximum Waddles, our job was now. I feel they always were a little bit.
I mean, when Triple H was, or when Vince was in charge, I feel like they weren't. But if you've noticed, I don't know if you noticed this, but they're not coming out as much to the actual audience. They're doing more backstage segments. Yeah. And when they do come out, what happened on Friday is more of what happened. Braun Strowman said, "We're not watching you guys dress around like school kids. I'm going to beat your ass." Yeah. And it's like, maybe he's taking a shot at Vince. I don't know. But it just it seems like he's giving it the time, but he's not really. Where I feel like if Vince was in charge, we'd be watching Maximum Male Models fashion shows for 25 minutes.
Imagine it back in the day, Vince would have done the strut with them down the ringside, I would have thought. So
that would have been great.
Absolutely.
Imagine. Hey, he should do that if he really is going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame and Stephanie wants to introduce him. Oh my God, my ring light just fell. Oh my God.
Are you okay, Tino?
Yeah, no, I'm fine. My ring light just fell.
Shall I take you out for a second, or are you all right?
No, I'm fine. My stupid ring light. I just needed to. I was cleaning the basement, and I didn't set up my ring light right, So it just fell. So I just needed to unplug it, so it fell. It's whatever.
I hope that it's okay. That's what I'll say anyway. But
no, I'm fine. No, I'm fine. It just fell behind me. I just got to set it back up, but it's something I'll do after. It's
absolutely. Well, we've only got 3 comments left, and then we will
wrap
up
the fine.
ladies and
I'm sorry about that. Tino's falling apart here on the live stream.
Seriously, just hope Tino's son gets a girlfriend soon. You're not alone. He doesn't have one even. We might as well set a date nap up on this stream today.
Oh my
ladies,
God!
You know where to tune in. Follow them on the socials. You know what to do. Seriously, also asking, what do we think of Imperia's remix theme song? I'm down with it. I was a bit like, whoa, the first week, but I was down with it this week. I thought it was fine.
Whose theme song?
Imperium's.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, just the way they're presented is perfectly fine. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just the way. I love the way Imperium is right now. I'm so happy Giovanni Vinci's back. It's great.
It's awesome all round. And C Nation, last one from us then. It's weird how Roman Reigns won the Universal Championship on a B-level pay-per-view like Payback. Absolutely was. But hey, it shows to show that you can win these championships at, I suppose, minor shows.
You never know. You never know. You have to pay attention to what stuff's going on now, because like we talked about the Johnny Gargano thing. Johnny Gargano came back on a commercial break. Like, you have to pay attention now. Triple H ain't going to let you. And he keeps telling us. It's not like he's not, like, he keeps telling us to watch, and he's got more things coming, and everybody's just got to, like, you know what I mean? It's not like he's not delivering either. He's said things, and he's done it. That earns a lot of trust with me. I don't know about you, but I have trust issues with people. So I need to, like, I want to see it first. And the way, like, you know, it just, all we need is Candice to come back, and then we got the way, you know.
Give it time. Give it time. It's coming. It's coming. I'm with you. Triple H has given us all reasons to have the faith and all of his decisions so far. I think more than not, I think that WWE has been a much improved product. Even if there are maybe 1 or 2 storylines, no wrestling company is ever going to be perfect. There's always going to be minor flaws in every show here and there. But just to finish things off then, Tino, just to wrap things up here today, Logan Paul versus Roman Reigns. In conclusion, is this a good decision in your opinion, or is this a bad decision?
I mean, it's a good decision for what it is. I mean, for where it's going. Like we've talked about a lot of this, like it's not at a major event. It's at a crown jewel. It's on a Saturday afternoon. It's not on a Saturday night. And I know a lot of the pay-per-views, like, you know, like usually are on like Saturday nights, but they're on, you know, I just feel like there's going to be more people watching it, watching Logan Paul, than there would be on a Extreme Rules Saturday night. You know, I mean, people might tune in, but Sunday night or is every pay-per-view on a Saturday now?
For the rest of this year, yeah.
Okay, well, that's good. I love that. But before it was on Sundays, and I just think that, like, there's going to be more people watching than there would be if it wasn't. And I don't think it's a bad thing. There's going to be more matches, obviously. They're going to have this pay-per-view be something. We're going to be doing watch-alongs. We're going to be doing preview shows. It's not like a house show randomly. Like, you remember when they did, like, Roadblock and nobody could watch it? I think they did. You were able to eventually, but, like, just like those, you know what I mean? It's not like a 1-hour event. It's going to be an actual pay-per-view. But it's not like a major pay-per-view. No. So there's nothing wrong with it. I think it will be perfectly fine. I think it will be good. And Logan's proven he can go in the ring, so he's going to go out there and do a couple things. He said he wanted to put Roman through the table. He said he put the Miz, so why can't he put the head of the table?
Actually, one comment I saw somewhere, I think it was in the press comments, Logan Paul said he is the table.
True.
There you go. It'd be interesting to see if it works out. I agree with you. Like, I think obviously as a long-term wrestling fan, I would prefer to have seen someone who has earned it being in the position. But on the idea of attraction, celebrity, we're not bringing the likes of Goldberg in. This guy has come in. God. He's shown that he has got some dedication to the business. He's impressed Triple H. It can work very well from a social media aspect. It can work well to bring hopefully some new eyes in, even if it's just for the one match, even if people tune in and see what happened afterwards. Think of his podcast for the next 7 weeks. More people are going to hear about it, hear about the fallout, how we almost got the championship, that sort of stuff leading in.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a good 20-minute match. I think, like you said, there could be a broken table spot. There could be some fun stuff happening. They'll make this match as good as it can be. But I think overall, I'm up for it. I think that you don't know how long Logan Paul's going to be around in WWE either. I'm sure he's signed to a deal, but that's information they know what we don't know. But with Gronkowski, he was signed for a time being, didn't work out the same. So strike while the iron's hot. And that's what they're doing here. And the next time we probably get Logan Paul after this will probably be the Royal Rumble or something.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you can have a bit of fun with that with him in the Rumble match. So for me,
I can't wait to see who's going to throw him out.
It could build up to his WrestleMania opponent.
Oh God,
maybe it's Pat McAfee or Bad Bunny.
Braun versus Logan Paul. Book it.
Do it. As long as there's no green slime with Braun, I'm okay.
Oh my God, it was. I felt like I was watching Nickelodeon back in 2000 when they were doing the slime attack.
Absolutely
ridiculous.
Thought I was watching John Cena on the Kids Awards show or something.
Oh my God, don't get me, man. I would watch that like I would watch a pay-per-view.
Absolutely. Richard, I wish I could get Eddie Edwards and Alicia on that short notice. I don't know if that would be possible with my liking, but I'd like to sort of try the idea of Impact Wrestling streams at some point. I don't know how popular they would be. So if there's something people would be interested in, let me know, and then I can see if I could do that, because usually I stick to pre-recorded video format for Impact. So if people think that would be something they'd want to see on a live stream, let me know and I'll see what I can do. Can't promise the wrestlers, but I can promise you Impact content if you want it. But that's pretty much going to be wrapping up from us anyway here today. I want to just quickly say Tino's Time on YouTube. Go and subscribe to him. Tino, tell everybody about what you're coming up on your great channel.
Well, everybody, go check out Tino's Time on YouTube. We are now on SoundCloud and Spotify also for all you fantasy football freaks and geeks out there. You need any fantasy football advice, your boy Tino's got you. Winner every year, fantasy football, at least one league every single year. Football's on, so I am live now every week for the Sunday games, noon and 3 o'clock. And then, of course, we got all the live streams, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, every day. Tino's taking over every day. We're on TikTok, Tino's Time 1996, on Twitter, of course, and then on Instagram and Facebook, Tino's Time and Tino's Time Wrestling.
Sounds amazing.
Got them all in there.
You did awesome as well.
I tried to.
Absolutely. And we've got a KXI saying, what's going on, Steve? I'm really well, KXI. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for checking out the stream. We're pretty much wrapping things up now, but we've got everything. About half an hour at the start was pretty much a lot of discussion on this match. So, yeah, if you can get our thoughts on that, and we did a little Q&A to wrap things up.
You see Tino fail, too.
Sorry?
I said you saw Tino fail too. His ring light fell. He's in the dark. He's in the.
we might have to just trim that down for a shorts video for everyone. You never know. Maybe Tino can
I give you full permission to. I'll even share it. I'll put it on my thing. But that's fine because, man, it is what it is.
It's good times. Well, KXI says I missed it. Well, I'll tell you what, KXI, I'm doing another live stream tomorrow. Here's my turn to promote. I'll be back here tomorrow. I believe I've set this stream for 8 p.m. UK time, which means it'll be 3 p.m. Eastern. AEW Grand Slam predictions, including Rampage as well. So you can check out there. You can catch this video from start now. And of course, there's loads of videos to check out in the meantime. But thanks to everyone that has been tuning in. I'm off to watch WCW 2000. David Arquette winning the WCW World title. Will it happen to Logan Paul against Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel? Time will tell. We don't think so, but what if he lands that one punch? Take care. We'll see you next time.